Sarah, I am so excited for this conversation today. When we got connected on social media, I was like immediately very excited because I'm like, oh my gosh, she is so similar to me, has so many of the same interests. And I just get giddy when I get connected with people that are just so like-minded. So I'm really excited to have you on I guess we're doing this for both of our podcasts. So hello to both listeners, but I'm really excited to have this conversation with you. Thanks for being here and making the time to do this with me.
Oh, likewise, Kelly. I just got the chills because really what I've learned over the last few years is I need to, not, how do you say it? Politely get rid of the people that are not like-minded in my life and connect with more people that are like-minded. And it just is so much more enjoyable and makes me a better person, makes me want to be a better person. And I'm hopefully doing the same for the others.
Yes. Oh, I know. There's something so powerful about having that connection with other people. And I love it so much. So this is what social media is all about to me. So, yeah. All right, well, let's dive right in. I want you to give my listeners a little bit of a background of your health coaching journey and how you got started and what type of issues you help people with. Do you work specifically with women or both men and women?
No, you know what? I honestly, people ask, well, what's your specialty? I've been forced to be a specialty to specialize in kids because I have three that have gone through an amazing health journey in themselves. Men that are old and wanting to stay young. I've got athletes. I've got women, of course. So I run the gamut.
All over the place. That's great.
Yeah. And it kind of starts back with my own health. Really started failing in my 20s and a lot of gut issues on the verge of Crohn's disease, heavy metals, hormonal issues. And, everyone around me thought I was depressed. I knew I wasn't depressed in my heart, but I just wasn't feeling good. And physically, when you're not feeling good, emotionally, of course, you're not stable. And as I went along, and had my three kids, as you know, pregnancy just depletes you. Mm-hmm. So you can get away with a lot in your younger years. And then as you get older with age and with the pregnancies, my body just failed. It was just at a failure. And I was not on this path of health as far as health coaching or getting into this business. I was actually into economics and finance and business, real estate, and really just wanted to be a mom. And that was what I thought I was going to be. But I just knew that this was my calling once I had figured things out for myself. So it became a journey of tackling the issues that I was forced to tackle with my own health. Like I said, gut issues were huge. And as you know, everything starts in the gut. Mm-hmm. And then to just fast forward a little forward, and then we'll go back again. But my son, when he was 9 years old, had leukemia, and kids are not supposed to get cancer. So that was something that just drove me deep into having to find natural solutions. I had, you'll appreciate this from your own background, with my gut issues, the Western medical, they just could not find solutions for me. They gave me, you have IBS. And I said, well, I'm not going to accept that. And I'm going to find some other solution. So I went to a natural practitioner, and we just peeled my own health like an onion, got rid of one thing and other things would show up. But then when my son came down with his diagnosis, we started using what's now called accelerated silver, and that kills all viruses, bacteria, fungus, and it also boosts the immune system. Now, he was on that for about a year, cleaned up his diet a bit, and within a year, not only were his nutritional deficiencies gone, that were there, as well as the cancer, but the leukemia was gone. His blood was nice and alkaline. He was healthy. I mean, he went from a kid that did not want to go to school, that looked pale and yellow, to a kid that was, oh gosh, he's now 17. So 8 years later, he just broke the record at the nationals for rowing crew. So here you have a kid that not only had leukemia and didn't want to go to school and did not want to swim in his 20-minute swim lesson, to a kid that has not been sick in 8 years, not missed a day of school, and he just won a national title and breaking a record that will probably never be broken again, because they broke the record in the semis and then they broke their own record in the finals. So his immune system is rock solid, and we've had to come up with these solutions naturally. And he has not been on antibiotics. He has not been on any prescription drugs since that diagnosis. So there's that. And then with my daughter, whole nother set of issues, no cancer, no serious issues like that, but she's had anemia, allergies, asthma, things that I've never had. I mean, I've had a whole bunch of issues, but none of those. And so essentially it's God saying, okay, here's another basket of goods you need to learn about. Mm-hmm. And so I did that, and she just went to volleyball practice at 6 a.m. and then she had to run off to junior guards right afterwards. And this is a girl that I could not get at 4 years old to go on a bike ride around the block. Literally would not go around the block. She had no energy. And then I've got my youngest, who, you'll appreciate this with your younger kids. She was a doer, but she would study, but she started getting anxiety over reading and her testing. And she was failing these reading tests in second grade. And I'm sitting here going, I don't know what to do with this, because I was a good student. I got straight A's. I was a type A personality. My other two kids really excelled in school. And so that was never their issues. And there was one night where it just brought tears to my eyes. She was reading a paragraph over and over and over again. And she looked at me and she goes, Mom, I read the words, I put them together, and they just don't make sense. Oh. And it just killed me. Oh. And I didn't have any answers for her. And so I cleaned up her diet. I put her on the supplements that I knew to help her. I helped try to deal with the anxiety. And that girl is now going into 7th grade at 13 years old. And she is, so 7th grade, she's an 11th grade reader. So she was below grade level in 2nd grade. And she is she's at the top of her class now. I mean, when she is ready to be hired out of college, she's going to be my first hire, because she has the persistence and she knows how to overcome. And I want to talk a little bit about the mindset as you focus on anxiety and everything, mm-hmm. about overcoming and where your mind is in your spirituality. But in what I teach my clients and what I've learned from my kids and from myself, especially from myself, because I was such a wreck in my 20s, is that you can't fix your mind and your spiritual well-being until you have that physical health. And I remember back in my 20s when people would say, well, let's put you on Prozac, or you just need to get happier. And the practitioner that I went to, he looked at me and he said something different. He said, Sarah, I don't even want to touch that until we get you on a strong foundation. He said, I'm shocked that you got out of bed right. With the way your body's functioning, you have no strength and you're depleted and things aren't working. Your gut's not working. And going back to that gut health, I really focus on detoxing, resetting, and rebuilding the whole immune system. And that immune system starts in the gut. So when you have holes in your gut lining, as we call leaky gut, which is the cause of 90%, in my opinion, 90% of health issues. is when you have that leaky gut, which is caused by processed foods, the toxins, gluten, EMFs, stress, lack of sleep, all of those things cause leaky gut, then your body has that autoimmune inflammatory response. And when that happens, that can show up in my body as Crohn's disease, in my kid's body as anxiety or cancer or allergies, asthma, acne, lack of serotonin and dopamine and GABA. All of those things are made in the gut. And so when your gut is not intact, you're going to have all of these issues, whether it's physical or mental. And I love when people come to me and say, well, Sarah, you focus on the gut, but my stomach's fine. I'm regular. I can eat anything. And they'll say, but God, my knees hurt, or I just have this brain fog, or I can't sleep very well, or I wake up at 3 a.m. and I go to bed okay, but then I wake up at 3 a.m. And it's like, it's all starts in the gut. And I stress that for the kids too. I mean, I've got one of my kids' friends is showing signs of severe anxiety. And I tried to gently say, maybe clean up her diet a little. I wasn't even pushing my supplements on her or anything. And she just didn't want to hear it. And that's another thing I've learned, is that I only want to speak to those who are ready to listen. Amen. And that want to hear me, right? And that's one prayer I make every day is, for those that aren't ready for me, please don't hear me. And for those that need me, come find me. And I just trust that that's going to happen. So back to the gut. I truly believe with what I teach my kids and my husband and myself is I've got a kind of a protocol that helps clean out the body, detoxes the body, and rebuilds it. And some of those things are just, of course, probiotics. Mm-hmm. And the accelerated silver that helped my son, and that also helped with my daughter's allergies, her asthma. It kills all viruses, bacteria, fungus, like I said. But the one that I have is special. It's not a colloidal silver. It has applied vibrational frequency technology in it, which is a proprietary electromagnetic process that helps cancel out the imbalances in the body and promotes the healthy frequencies. And then also, one thing with most silvers and most supplements, and you would know this when you're deciphering between junk and the stuff that actually works, it's that my silver can bypass that gut barrier and get into the whole system for optimal absorption and the healing, where a lot of colloidal silvers, not only the particle sizes are so large that the cells can't absorb them, but they can't actually get through the system. So you're wasting your money. Yeah. The other great thing about this is it tastes like water, looks like water, and it's easy for kids to take, easy for, the older population. So even if someone says, well, I'm not going to change my diet, I'm not going to do anything, I go to McDonald's every day, you're wasting your time with me, Sarah. I say, well, silver is not going to hurt you. It's only going to help you. And then when I'm talking to an Olympic athlete or someone like my son, that silver is not only boosting their immune system, but they feel a huge boost in their energy and their mental energy. So we connect the dots from the physical to the mental, there is a connection there, and it helps with the brain fog and the circulation to the brain.
Yeah. So
that would be number one. And then I really do promote more of a ketogenic diet, and that's a low carb diet. With my kids, they are all on a ketogenic diet. And if someone isn't ready to do the full ketogenic diet, I understand. But it's more whole foods and low carb. And I saw a huge difference in my daughter's anxiety and her ability to function and think and my other daughter's ability to have the energy and the absorption of her nutrients with that. And that is also a way to kind of reset the body and giving it the tools to absorb the proper nutrients and heal the gut. And with that, then also I am a promoter of gentle detox, even with my kids. With all, I know people say that our liver and kidneys are supposed to be functioning properly. We don't need to do detox. And I know you talk about, juicing and celery juice and that sort of thing. I have a detox powder that soaks up all the toxins from this world. Our ancestors did not live with chemtrails and EMFs and the toxins in our food and the processed foods. I mean, even 50 years ago, our world was completely different. So with that, I do believe there's a need for gentle detox on a daily basis. And if you don't, your brain's going to be full of these toxins that are clogging it. I've got this powder that is has 6 ingredients, and it is, I just want to make sure I can list them off so I don't forget them, because it's really important to know how they all work together. And one is micronized zeolite, which acts like a sponge, and it has a negative charge. And if you think of any poisons out there, even prescription drugs are considered a quote unquote poison to the body, or alcohol. This soaks those up gently and just kind of passes it gently through your colon instead of burdening your kidneys and your liver. And mine is micronized, which means that the molecules are much smaller and can grab onto a lot more of those toxins in the system. And then there's the diatomaceous earth, which detoxifies the body, kills the parasites and fungus. Then there's psyllium, which acts like a sponge, cleans out the whole digestive tract and helps with regularity. Triphala, which acts like a sponge and cleans out the whole digestive tract and helps with balancing the bowel movements. And slippery elm, which helps with making the stool softer and helps with ulcers, bringing down any inflammation in the gut. So people with IBS or colitis really this really helps soothe those pains and that inflammation. And then, of course, the activated charcoal, which soaks up more toxins and chemicals. And this is another one where people say, I'm not going to change anything. Oh, it helps with hangovers. Okay, I'll take it. So, so I've got it for the people that really are on a major detox and the people that aren't doing anything else but the silver on the detox powder. And with the other thing I just wanted to quickly touch on was as I'm trying to build that foundation physically, and we're talking about trying to reach our higher self and our mental optimal state and spiritual state. We can't do that with all of the EMFs and the smartphones and the radiation in this world. What it's doing, and the toxins from the fluoride, the bromine, and the chloride, those things are clogging our receptor sites in our brain and in our body where iodine is needed. Mm-hmm. And 96% of the United States is deficient in iodine. And you'll hear of a lot of people saying, I've got hyperthyroidism or Hashimoto's. Well, that's from a lack of iodine. And iodine is the #1 predictor of depression. What its job is, it actually activates your mitochondria, which is essentially your life force or your chi in your body. And so if you're deficient in it, you have no life force. So you're just kind of dumbed down. You have no energy physically, mentally, spiritually, and it makes your brain function. So the iodine, what happens is if you are deficient, those receptor sites are being clogged by the fluoride, the bromine, and the chloride that are in our systems, and or contaminated radiation or radioactive iodine. So if you supplement with iodine, you kick all of those toxins out, and your body can kick out all of those and is protected from those that ionized and non-ionized radiation in this world. So the pineal gland, as we're talking about spirituality and our higher self and connecting to it, the pineal gland controls that flow of energy. But if we don't have the proper amount of iodine in our body, that fluoride gets calcified in the pineal gland. So you are essentially dumbed down, and you feel like you're in a fog, you're depressed. And as iodine gets into the body, it will detoxify your pineal gland, give it the nutrients it needs to become your best self and more connected to your higher self and spiritual self. It's said to be the single most important mineral we have for spiritual life. So it's not just about the thyroid. Of course, iodine is the 3 out and the 4 out of the T3 and T4 when you're talking about thyroid health, right? So if someone says, well, I have hypothyroidism, and their numbers are in an okay range, it might be though that their T3 isn't, or T4 is not converting to their T3, or they don't have enough iodine to complete that T3 and T4. So that is really important for your thyroid health and metabolism. But what most people don't know is that women, or I should say men and women, there's more iodine receptors in your breast tissue than in your thyroid. So women with low thyroid are going to have 3 times more breast cancer and fibrocystic breasts. So it's really important for women's health. So with that, I highly recommend the iodine, and mine it's called acceleridine. You really have to be careful with the iodines that are out there. A lot of them are toxic, and they come from radioactive iodine, or people think they're getting it from their salts. Well, that is typically toxic iodine. This is charged with true scalar energy, which means that it's treated with the most balanced and highest frequency and heals at the body at the deepest level. It also is programmed essentially to kick out radiation of the body. So it's not only doing the job of what iodine does, but it has extra frequencies in there to kick out radiation even more. And it's also a single atom of iodine versus others which are diatomic. And that means that if your body is already weak and your immune system is weak, you are going to have a hard time breaking down those molecules. Mine is a single atom of iodine, so it's very easy for the body to absorb, and goes right in and starts doing its work. Iodine also is the only element that can create apoptosis, which is the death of cancer and disease cells. So it's also cleaning up your body. So this is all part of the detoxing of the brain and the body and the gut. And then, of course, you've got to rebuild that gut. And with that, you do it through proper foods, as you know. And I also am a proponent of Restore, which has been known to heal leaky gut, as we were talking about, so that your body has, or your gut has, that ability to produce all of the probiotics it needs and the gut flora it needs to then produce the hormones and the serotonin, dopamine, GABA, all of these hormones that help calm the mind, the happy hormones, the feel-good hormones, and also your female and male hormones. One of my issues that I didn't even mention was that I had PCOS. And part of that was from high testosterone and not enough of my female hormones, but also insulin resistance. Here I was eating, I thought I was eating right with eating a low-fat diet full of frozen yogurt and bagels, and it was causing leaky gut, and then it was also causing my insulin resistance. And no one diagnosed me with that, not until later on when I was, in the last 5-10 years did I realize that I was insulin resistant, because I had always been a good athlete. I had always thought I was eating right. I never was really overweight, so it's not something that when someone would say, oh, you're pre-diabetic or you're insulin resistant. So that is pretty much where I would say the detoxing comes in. One thing that comes along with the iodine that I have that is truly needed in this world today with the EMFs and all of the radiation that we were talking about is this supplement called Nuke No More, and it zeroes out your radiation. And when people think, well, I don't understand that, or I don't know why that would be such a big deal. Just with, we've had the 3G network going and the 4G, and now we're embarking on the 5G, which is going to be a serious issue. Just with 3G, they have shown that this disrupts the autonomic nervous system, the digestive system, the vagus nerve, the immune system. So all these things we're trying to correct with diet and exercise and doing everything right. We're being bombarded by EMFs that are taking us 10 steps back. And it's causing a low-grade chronic depression. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'll walk on the streets and it just seems like people are all in a fog. And it's very few people that you can actually make eye contact with and see a light behind and really connect with. And that's why I was so excited to connect with you. But it's really sad to see how many kids have anxiety and are suffering with suicidal thoughts. A lot of this has to do with the EMFs we're being bombarded with. There's been an increase in cancer and diabetes. And one interesting thing is that when people go into a high EMF zone without eating anything, their blood sugar goes up. So it's you could be eating all the right things and your blood sugar could spike just from the EMFs, which is crazy. And it's 50% of the adult population nowadays has one chronic debilitating disease. And if you were to include obesity in that number for kids, it would also be 50%. So 50% of our children have at least one debilitating disease. And it's just a road to nowhere. So anyways, this supplement called Nuke No More zeroes out all of the radiation in the body, and it tastes like water, which is awesome. You just put drops under your tongue. It's the only formula that I've ever heard of or that science has been behind that has these anecdotal frequencies for nuclear fallout and for the ionizing radiation from x-rays, commercial flying, and from the smart meters, the cell phones, the electric pollution. And once you do one bottle, you're zeroed out, and you actually stay zeroed out as long as you're taking the acceleridine iodine to continue protecting you and kicking out those toxins. So when someone comes to me and they say, okay, I want to feel better, I will say, let's first work on your physical being. And these are the things I recommend. And I get them in a place where I kick their sugar habits. I have a supplement that's a keto supplement that puts your body into ketosis within 30 minutes. And that will get them in a state where they say, okay, I feel better. And what I don't know how familiar you are, or if you even follow a ketogenic diet, or but it essentially is having your body run on ketones instead of glucose. Mm-hmm. And so your body is has all of these stores of fat on your body. Even for someone like you or me who doesn't have a lot of fat on our bodies, we still have hundreds of thousands of calories. So our body says, God, okay, I've got this great source of fuel. I don't need to search for that sugar in 2 hours or that candy bar or the Coke or the Starbucks. I feel great. Now what? And it puts you in that mental ease where you are now focusing on healing your body, healing your gut, and becoming your best self. And with the supplement, I had a lady last week who she started 2 weeks ago, and she said, Sarah, I'm going to need your help every week. I can't stay on this. I have no willpower. I said, let's just wait to see how you feel. And she started the shake, and she did my keto detox protocol, which has a lot of these supplements in it and rebuilds the gut while you're in a ketogenic state. And she called me and she says, this is really strange. Why are the cravings gone and why is my energy up? I don't even want that sugar that I wanted before. And she was like, okay, now what? So it puts you in that state where you're ready to take that next step. And that's what I was talking about earlier, where you really need to get that foundation of your physical being before you start with your working on your mental being. And then you can start really connecting with your higher self and your mental and emotional state. And a lot of people get off of their Prozacs and their anti-depressants, anxiety drugs, because their body's wanting to heal itself and all of the hormones start coming into balance. And anyway, that's where I'm at. And of course, it's a journey. I don't know everything. And as you know, the more we learn, the more we realize we don't know.
Right.
So, anyways, that's kind of where I lead my clients. And a lot of times they think they need me a lot more than they do. But once they get that strong foundation of a physical state and a few tips on their mental state, they're off on their own.
Yeah.
And they've taken these lessons. So
wow.
I know I'm long-winded.
That's okay. I was sitting here and I kept picturing, like, you know, those cartoon characters with the like hearts in their eyes and they're like ding ding ding, ding, like the hearts are like coming out of, like, as she's talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so my language. And I'm just like sitting here like listening, like, just preach it. Everything that you said, I love the sciencey stuff. So my mind can wrap around that and really grasp onto it. And I need that kind of stuff in order to understand why I need to be taking what I'm taking. And the whole time too, when I was thinking, when you're talking about your kids, is, and how lucky are they that they get a mom that is willing to look further, to not just accept a diagnosis, and willing to dig in deeper and find alternative ways to help. And because that takes extra effort, and it's hard when you're given these diagnoses, or somebody in your family is, and all of a sudden you feel like you just need to throw your hands in the air and listen to what the white coats are telling you to do. And you didn't do that. You said, you know, hell no, I'm going to dig deeper and find other ways to help my children. So I feel like they're very, very lucky to have you as a mom. And so I just want to first acknowledge you for that. And when you were speaking about your son with his leukemia, and you're talking about the accelerated silver, that really piqued my interest, because of course I've heard about the colloidal silvers and that, but I never really knew like the formulation really mattered. And so talk to us a little bit about his journey with leukemia and using that accelerated silver. I know you talked about it a little bit, but really give our listeners an idea of what else it can help with. I mean, obviously cancer, but like, I really am interested. It's more of like a selfish thing for me. That silver really piqued my interest. So talk to me a little bit more about that, and who needs it and how do they take it and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so number one, disclaimer, I am not a doctor, and I'm not here to diagnose or treat any condition. Yeah. And this is my experience. So I've been using it for 15 years. When I first came across it, it really was told to me that it helps with killing the flu bug and the cold virus. I didn't really understand the true power of it until my son's experience. I am limited a little bit on what to say about my accelerated silver. So what I would tell people to do is Google the benefits of colloidal silver and just know that mine is like 1,000 times more effective. But over history, silver's been around since Hippocrates. It's been used for ear infections, for eye infections, for sinus infections, and people use it topically, literally putting it in their ears. I'll tell you one story. My daughter used to get ear infections, and we would go to the pediatrician and give her the antibiotics and all of that. Well, once I knew about the silver, I went to the doctor, diagnosed there was a horrible ear infection, got the prescription, went home, used the silver and put the drops in her ears. I went back to the doctor 3 days later, which he wanted to see to make sure that the ear infection was gone. And this was, gosh, I wasn't even really didn't even know the power of the silver yet. So I was just doing my own little study. And I thought to myself, if her ear infection hadn't cleared up, then I will start with the antibiotic. The doctor said, gosh, there's no sign there was even an ear infection. That prescription really worked. And I just smiled and walked out of the office. The silver completely cleared it up, and I never used the prescription. So the great part about an ear infection is you're getting right to the source of the infection. People have used silver in a nebulizer straight into their lungs for bronchitis or pneumonia and that sort of thing, up your nose for a nasal infection, gargling it with for a sore throat, for strep throat, and I'm just talking generally. So these are uses you can use. So 99% of the time when someone says, hey, can I use accelerated silver for this? The answer is yes. And it is, I haven't been sick in 15 years. And like I said, my kids, so all three of them, my son with his issues, my daughter with, not only did she have asthma, allergies, and anemia, but she was always sick. She would get every fall, oh gosh, every fall, we live in Southern California, and we go from that sunny, beautiful summer to the fall, and that first day of fall, without fail, she would be sick. And that would be 3 or 4 weeks of just snot and low energy and just can't get her out of bed. And the silver got her, after starting the silver, that never happened again. And I do have some Ayurvedic herbs and Chinese herbal supplements that I will tell people to take if they really feel something coming on and they just want an extra 1-2 punch. But if someone's taking the silver on a daily basis, 3 to 7 times a day, they don't get sick. I mean, honestly, I'm not, the most I've ever felt is a little tickle in my throat of something. And that's when people around me are really struggling with strep throat or something serious. And not one of my kids has missed a day of school. So let's see, that's been 9 years. Not one kid has missed a day of school from being sick. And that's through elementary, junior high, and high school.
So this is kind of like the Swiss Army knife that everyone needs in their medicine cabinet.
Oh, and talk about your first aid kit. If you're camping, I mean, silver has been known to, back in the day, they used to put silver coins in the bottom of water bottles to kill off foreign pathogens. That was way back in antiquity. People, the wealthy in Europe used to have silver in their food and eat off silver spoons just to fight the plague. I mean, this stuff has been around for thousands of years, and it's, it doesn't make pharmaceuticals money. So it's, you're not going to hear about it from your doctor.
And it's so
However, I know.
It's so frustrating.
It is. I was surprised when the pediatricians, when we go back for well check, and she doesn't even know my name because I'm never in there. And she'll say, Mommy, what are you doing? Because she calls all the moms Mommy, so she doesn't have to know our names. And she said, Mommy, what are you doing? And I told her about it. She goes, oh, my patients need this. My patients. And I looked at her and I thought, good for you for actually listening to something out of the norm. And that's rare these days. So it's super easy. Even the kids that are eating junk food all day, give your kid this. And back to the kids' health. One piece of unsolicited advice I'm going to give every mom out there, especially if the kids are young, is number one, get the junk out of the house. They don't know about it unless you introduce it to them, right? Mm-hmm. Number two, teach them why. The why, not just no, you can't have the candy bar. No. Give them a substitute and teach them why. You're not going to feel good with this. Your stomach's going to hurt. You're going to feel great for 15 minutes and then you're going to crash. Yeah. And it takes a lot of energy and it's a lot of work in the early years. But I can tell you now, I'm seeing the light. My kids are older and I don't have to follow them around and check on what they're eating. They do it themselves. And if they have pizza and cake at a party, they know they're going to feel horrible and that's their choice. But at least they've connected the dots and they know, okay, so I'm going to have pizza tonight because I have nothing important tomorrow. But as I'm getting ready for my national race or I'm getting ready for just my swim, test tomorrow, I'm going to have a proper dinner, maybe not have dessert tonight and make sure I have a really good, wholesome, high protein, healthy fat breakfast beforehand. And they do it because they have connected the dots and I've taught them why. And I think adults don't give kids enough credit. I have nieces and nephews and kids' friends that come over to my house and they ask for green drinks. And I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, I wish your mom saw this because I'm not pushing this on you and you're asking to drink it because your body is wanting it. And truly, I don't know why they have a kids menu at restaurants, mac and cheese and chicken fingers. My kids, it's expensive, but they order off of the adult menu.
Yeah.
So it's right. You need to give them the power. And back to the silver, the fun thing about that is I will give kids, especially when they were younger, I gave them their own little dropper bottle of silver so that they took ownership of their health. And that was the beginning of like, okay, I'm taking my medicine. I'm doing something for myself. And they can't overdose on it. So if they drink the whole bottle, it's not going to be an issue. It's just going to waste your money. But it's a great start in teaching them how to take ownership.
Yeah, you're right. We don't give kids enough credit. And I think that teaching them why health is important is I'm so glad you brought that up. It's so true. And my girls, I teach them all the time and they know I take my vitamins because I want to be healthy and strong and I want to grow. And I need to drink lots of water because I need to stay hydrated. My body needs that water. And so other people laugh at us because my girls will say, oh, I need to get hydrated. And they're like, really? You taught them? I'm like, yeah, because they need to understand why it's important, why we have to take care of our health. And then if I say no, that they can't have whatever sugary snack they want, they'll say, oh, is it because it's too much sugar right now? And it's like, yes. So they're smarter than you think. Teach them these things and also with the supplements and the vitamins and their taste will change. If you have them on high quality supplements, high quality vitamins that are sourced from food and they're actually getting absorbed, their taste changes because their cells are regenerating and they're regenerating healthy and you're giving your body what it needs and your body isn't having all these crazy cravings for the sugary stuff and all the carbs and all the things because it doesn't feel depleted. It feels full nutrition wise. So that also helps with kids and them asking for, and they're kids, they want the junk, but if you can give them what they need, that so they don't feel their body doesn't crave it, that's a huge step in the right direction. Then of course the educating them why we teach, why we do what we do to stay healthy. And they know when I go to the gym to work out, they don't say anything about it's because mommy wants to lose weight. No, I don't teach them that. I say I go to the gym because I like to be healthy. And so when I go to the gym and I work out, they say, "Oh, you're going to go get healthy." And I say, "Yep." So they understand. So teach them, be willing to open their minds up to those types of things. But and to kind of wrap things up, a couple main points that I wanted to touch on is that I know she talked a lot about different supplements, and a lot of detox was brought up, and a lot of, nutrition and the importance of the gut health and all these things. But I think if you were just to kind of wrap this up in a package and say, here's what our body needs. Our body really, really needs two things. It needs nutrition and it needs to detox.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah. So I always tell people, let's focus on those two things first. And just like you said, that's going to help our physical body. That's going to help our guts heal. That's going to help our bodies get rid of the garbage that we put, that we introduce into our bodies every day through food, beauty products, environmental toxins, cell phone use, all those things. And a lot of these environmental toxins we have no control over.
I know.
So, I do tell people, like, this is why we supplement, because our body needs help. We're in a very toxic, terrible environment these days. And this is why people are sick. This is why there's so much disease out there. And so give your body what it needs. It needs supplementation and it needs to detox. And so you can't do it on your own. I know you got a liver. I know you got kidneys. It's not good enough anymore.
No. It was good enough hundreds of years ago, but not with what we're living with today. It's really sad. And the detox doesn't have to be painful. I always laugh on January 1st when I see friends at a party having, not a party, but like a dinner, bringing their green drink instead of having food, and they're on a 3-day juice cleanse. And not that that's bad, but they're starving, they're hangry, they're miserable, and they're not getting that big, they're not really doing a whole lot. The supplements I have are an easy way to do it. You're still eating real food, you're not hungry. I even have a liver flush cleanse where you do the whole package for 2 weeks. And that last day, you get hundreds of gallstones in the toilet. And it's awesome. And I always think, and during that flush, you're eating real food. You're just taking some supplements to soften those stones and to help the body get them ready to flush that last day. You get them pushed out into the system and it's out. But you're happy and you're not having headaches and you're not feeling horrible. But my thought is you want to make it easy. And I've also spent thousands of dollars on a whole bunch of junk supplements to save you money. So that I found the ones that work. And everything on my website I use, my kids use, my husband uses. And it's, I'm type A personality, I'm going to be extreme, right? So that's one thing. But if I can get my 12-year-old to do it, and if I can get my husband to do it, it's easy. So he is probably one of my biggest skeptic in my life. And so was my dad. And so I truly believe they were put in my life to make sure I knew what I was talking about and what I was doing and make sure things worked. So if it was working for them, then they'll listen and they'll do it. And so it's great for, this stuff applies to those kids and it applies to the elderly. It applies to men, women, and everybody.
Yeah. It truly does. Everyone needs to supplement their body. So if you are interested in connecting with Sarah, where can they find you?
My website is acceleratedhealthproducts.com. I'm also on YouTube under Accelerated Health Products and Facebook and Instagram. But if someone has I truly like to help people get on the right supplements for their own issues. So if you have a specific health issue, feel free to email me through my website or at sarah@acceleratedhealthproducts.com, and that's SARA, no H. And just tell me your health history or just what issues you're trying to address, and I'm happy to give you my recommendations for a protocol. And yeah, and I'm here to help. I truly believe, like I said before, I want to be here for those who need me. And I truly believe that God gave me all these issues in my family for a reason. And I want to use those as a kickstart and a way to help others.
Yeah. Well, I love your point of view. It's refreshing. I love everything about what you're doing. And I hope that my listeners reach out to you. And also, she provided my listeners with a coupon code, right, for your website?
Yes, it is for 15% off anything. It's a Rebel Whitecoat 15, and a lot of my bundles are already 15% off, so that's going to be a total of 30% off, which is awesome. And I'm here to help, like I said. And Kelly, I would love for you to tell my listeners what you offer and what you can do for them.
Yeah, so I am very similar to Sarah with my story. I won't go too much into it, but very similar with gut health issues. I was diagnosed with IBS, and they thought I had Crohn's disease at the age of 23, and depressed, was put on anti-depressants, and I finally got to the point where I was heading in a really bad direction, and I wasn't feeling good physically, wasn't feeling good mentally, and I knew I had to take charge of my health myself, and I knew I had to find alternative ways to do so. So that's kind of after I figured out the power of natural medicine and alternative medicine and supplementation with whole food vitamin supplements and supplements for mood and gut health healing supplements, things like that. I knew I had to turn that into a practice, a holistic healing practice to help other women with the same issues. So I specialize in natural anxiety relief. But really, just like you said, I really do love focusing on the gut, because that is the source of, like you said, 90% of our issues, including our mood. So what I love to offer people is a one-on-one free consult with me, and just to give them, to listen first of what their problem is and give them some recommendations for some really high quality whole food supplementation that I feel helps to detox them naturally on a daily basis. So like you said, it shouldn't be a hard, terrible process. It should be something that's easy. And so I just love to offer free vitamin consults. So jumping on the phone with me one-on-one. I do have a book that came out too, so I would love for you to reach out to me, and I'm happy to send you a copy in the mail. My book is called Don't Tell Me to Relax. And it's all about, because when someone tells you, when you're somebody who's got anxiety and you're irritable, and somebody tells you relax, you like basically want to rip their face off. So right. That's where the title of the book came from. So I'm happy to connect with you for a one-on-one consult. And if we do so, I will be happy to send you a copy of my book in the mail. So you can find me on Instagram at Kelly Rompel Coaching. You can find me on Facebook under Kelly Rompel, and Rompel is Rompel, or you can send me an email to set up a consult at kellyrompelcoaching@gmail.com. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So exciting. I'm so glad we connected. And like I said, I think this is just the first of many, and like-minded people, we need to help and continue to collaborate and see what we can do for those that are wanting to improve their mental, physical, and spiritual health.
Yep. We're going to change the world. Women like us, link in arms. I tell you, that's the key to change the world for the better. So thank you for taking time to jump on here and do this. You have such a wide variety of knowledge, and I'll be getting a hold of you for my silver for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kelly. And we are definitely doing this again.
Definitely. We'll need a part 2, because I know that we're both we have so much to share. So we could probably talk your ears off for hours. We'll have a part 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. Well, thanks for listening. If you love this episode, make sure that you screenshot it, tag me on Instagram, get inside my DMs. I'd love to connect with you. And so would Sarah. She'd love to connect with you. Reach out to us so we can get the conversation rolling and get you feeling better and get you healthier. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us today. Leave a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this, and please be sure to check the description below for any additional information. Please don't hesitate to leave a comment or ask a question, as I'd love to answer as many of those as I possibly can. If there's a particular topic you'd like to hear more about, please share that in the comments below as well. Thanks again for joining us, and hope to see you again soon.